Welcome to the Chaos Plan, where the odds may not always be in your favor. Thank you for joining us for another episode. As always, we would like to thank Adrián Sanabria for the intro music of the Chaos Plan, and the in-game music was brought to you by tabletopaudio.com. If you have any questions about what we're doing and how we come up with the rules, maps, places, anything like that, check out our website, www.theadventuringguild.com, and click on the Chaos Plan tab up at the top. This will also give rules on character creation and how you can join the show. To join, just visit our Patreon page and donate to get in on these games. The more people we have, the more games we can run because schedules will line up better. And by joining, you are guaranteed a spot in this campaign. We will be running lots of different groups through, hopefully very soon, and since we're keeping it on an active timeline, we should be able to keep everybody managed as far as who is playing where and when. If you are unable to join but enjoy the show, please leave us a 5-star review, as that is how we will be able to get in front of more people and have more wonderful, talented people join the show. And please feel free to share any of our posts on your social media of choice. We are on Facebook and Twitter. For both of those, just search for The Adventuring Guild and we'll pop up one way or another. So thank you very much, and we hope you enjoy the show.
Thank you for joining us once again for another episode of the Chaos Plan. We are doing some downtime days here with Core, played by Will, and we're going to bring him up to speed with the rest of the group so that we can get some really interesting combinations of... So, where we left off last time, Core had gotten to the port city and was going to investigate the Mage's Guild on the strange stone that he had. And that's kind of where we are picking up. So, Core, you departed from the boat in the docks district. It is extremely crowded. People absolutely everywhere. The hustle and bustle of the city, unlike even Rosenberg, where you left Arcanum from. That was fairly busy, but this is an entirely new level of ridiculousness as far as people and everything going on. So, would you just ask directions and shoot straight for the Mage's Guild, or would you kind of take your time to kind of scope out the area before heading there?
I think what he would probably... Get down. He would probably just try and get there as fast as possible. With the amount of people is very intimidating to him. He's never really been to a city before. So, like, at this moment, he's just kind of like, wow, look at all these people. Whoa.
Okay, yeah, no, I totally get that. So, you are able to then ask directions from one of the guys on the docks, one of the guards, somebody that you would identify as an authority type figure, and you'd ask where the Mage's Guild is, and they tell you just go up the main road there between the Cauldron and the Commons, and you'll run right into the Mage's Guild, basically. Just look for the very large tower and all the people around a giant crystal shard. It's kind of the directions they give you. So you start walking up that main road, and it is all different manner and variety of people that you can possibly imagine. You see races of creatures that you've heard of but never actually seen. It's overwhelmingly human, elf, those kind of staple fantasy type races for meta terms, but there are also every manner and variety of kobolds running around. There's some goblins, there are weird tentacled creatures, there is every kind of demi-human you can imagine as far as like beast folk or shifters or lycanthropes possibly, just you name it, and there's that kind of creature here. So you're walking up that main road from the docks, and you see on your right-hand side as you're going down that main road all sorts of giant warehouse buildings, and you recognize many of the symbols on there identifying that these are warehouses of a specific guild. So you've got the Merchants Guild, you've got the Temples Guild, you've got the Mages Guild, and you've got the Tinkers Guild, all kind of on that right-hand side, just right off the road. On your left-hand side, you see there's all sorts of inns and bars and taverns and more, I don't want to call them less permanent shops, but kind of stalls set up just going through the docks. So then would you just keep walking on through until you get to where the Commons District starts, or would you stop and grab a drink or anything like that before heading through?
He's just going to keep walking on through, but he's doing it like extremely nervously, with all the crowding and stuff. He's just trying his best not to bump into anybody or like make anyone mad. It's like, sorry.
Gotcha. All right, so then you continue on up. It goes into the Commons District, and you can immediately tell that there is a bump in the quality of life here. On the right side of the road, there is homes that are actually homes. They have not necessarily white picket fences, but the equivalent of, very idyllic type homes. And then on the left-hand side, there is the Cauldron, which is a little bit closer to the docks, where it isn't nice, more heavily populated, more densely populated. And you also see more stalls, more wagon-drawn merchants, that kind of stuff. You continue past both of those districts, and you get into the heart of the city, into the guild district itself. On the right-hand side, you can tell that this is definitely a merchant area. There are every manner of stall and shop and bar and inn and just you name the type of commerce, it's here. And then on the right-hand side, or on the left-hand side of the road, is the Mage District, and you can almost immediately tell that as well. There's kind of that transition where there's alchemical shops and magical shops, but then it turns into spires, and you see floating, I don't want to say like Dragon Ball Z, like cloud type floating, but you can tell that there's people floating on discs. There are the mages, you see all sorts of robed individuals, you see many alchemists, you see sorcerers and wizards and every manner of magical profession basically going on the left-hand side of the road. So I'm assuming you head straight there, correct? Just through one of those and straight into the Mages Guild.
Yeah,
right.
Pretty much. Like, he's just trying to get off of the street and away from all the people as quickly as possible.
Okay, as you turn off of the main road and into the Mages District, the traffic gets a little bit lighter, but the streets are narrower, so you're closer to other people than what you're probably comfortable with. And looking around, you see as you're walking up a winged individual. You've heard stories of like almost like angelic, celestial type creatures, and there's one walking around right next to you, it looks like, and his hands glow with a radiant fire, and his eyes, when you look into them, are just solid white flames on the inside, and he takes a couple of running steps and launches into the air in front of you, soaring off into another district of the city. And you continue on the road just a little ways, and you see a very deep cowl, a very, very deep hood, and all you see are these purple, leathery skinned hands coming out of the cuffs, and you thought you saw a moving tentacle where a chin kind of area of the face would be, but as soon as you go to look closer at it, your eyes just, you don't really want to see it. Like, you subconsciously kind of look away, though you are very interested. You just subconsciously, you can't focus on it. And the robed figure moves by you without comment. You then get right up next to the Mages Guild. There's a very large area that you see, probably the densest population of people, and inside this very large domed building is a crystal shard, or a crystal. It is twice your height, at least, probably 3 times if you actually got up to it. Giant glowing crystal, and people are walking into this crystal and with a flash disappearing. It's a very odd thing for you to see. You're no stranger to knowing what a portal is, but this is probably your first time experiencing one this grand and this intentionally set up. So you find a bunch of gray-robed individuals that seem to be milling around and talking to folk and then look like they're employees, for lack of a better term. Would you approach one of these gray-robed individuals, or would you just kind of stand and wait for somebody to take notice of you?
He'll approach.
All right.
He'll approach. He walks up to him and he says, "Excuse me, are you mages? I'm looking for a mage."
Yeah, the one gray-robed guy flips around very, very quickly. Go ahead and roll me a D10 and a D8.
Okay, D10 and a D8. 6 on the D10, 5 on the D8.
All right. Okay, so this individual... this individual that you see standing in front of you is a beast folk of some variety. They look like to be kind of feline-oriented, but not necessarily a cat. You're guessing something along the lines of a lynx or something along those lines. Not a typical cat, but a beast folk. And they also appear to have strange tattoos or paint marks or something along those lines running across their fur on their face. And they turn around very quickly and say, "Why, yes, how can I be of assistance to you? I am a member of the Mages Guild and one of the gray-robed instructors here."
I'm from Arcanium. That's right, Arcanium?
Yeah, that'll work.
I'm from Arcanium. I found this red stone. It talks to me in my head, and now I have magic powers.
All right, this mage looks at you, and their eyes seem to get this bright blue glow about them as they start mumbling words that are very hard for you to understand. And they reach out.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
They don't. Yeah, they don't even interrupt it. You're still holding the stone out, aren't you?
Yeah, he's just like,
yes.
What's going on? What's happening?
They reach their hand out and they touch the stone and with a jerk pull their hand back, almost as if they were burned, and let out a little bit of a yell, like, that is something that I don't want in here. Quickly! And you see 3 or 4 other we'll call them 4. You see 4 other robed individuals kind of encircle you, and they begin chanting, and as you're looking around extremely confused, this glow appears around you, and you feel your body get extremely heavy all of a sudden, as if a lot of your strength and reserve had been drained out of you. Would you say anything or react in any way yet?
Yeah, he's like, I think like he's kind of getting pretty defensive. He's like, "Wait, no, I'm not here to cause any problems. I'm here for help. What are you doing?"
Okay, you see an elf, an elven woman approach you, and she says, "Shh, be still." And would you try to resist this feeling of calm that is coming over you, or would you relax as she says, "Shh, be still, be calm, we're not hurting you"?
He'll probably resist it first, but then just kind of try and relax as best he can. Like, Core's also like really like nervous and like tense about the situation he's in general, especially being in a new city, so he's just kind of like super on edge.
All right, if you think that you would resist any attempts at magical influence, go ahead and roll me a wisdom saving throw. Otherwise, if you think you'd accept that they're trying to help you, don't worry about it.
No, he would definitely resist. Let me roll that for you.
All right.
That's a 19.
A 19. You begin to feel this very calm and peaceful just relaxation begin to come upon you, and then all of a sudden you realize that you're being influenced by magic, and you snap out of it, and she puts both hands up and says, "We were just attempting to calm you. Please take no offense. This item that you possess is very, very dangerous. We do not wish to hurt you, but we don't want you to hurt anybody else should this power become loosed. Please just let us take you to one of the spell chambers and we can help explain what is going on."
I've been in control of it for the most part since I've got it. there's no need to restrain me by magical means. Like I said, I've come here for help, but I don't need you to restrain me.
And you see that she kind of looks warily at the other mages around her, and she says, okay, we understand that, and we will not try to influence you in any way should you remain under control, but please do not use any of your magic until we have figured out what exactly is going on with this strange stone of yours. So if you would be kind enough, we offer all apology. We will take you to one of the waiting rooms and provide you with a meal and a place to wash should you need. When you feel you are ready, we will bring in one of the Archmagi and they can further guide you in what is going on. If you would please follow Mage Shard here, they will be able to assist you in taking and guide you to where you are need to be.
Okay. I'll follow the Shard man.
Okay, and you see that Shard shakes its head. It's the original person that you approached, the lynx-looking individual, and just shakes his head. And you follow him deeper inside the Mages Guild. You get up to one of the very large doors, and it looks comfortable enough. This is very heavy architecture. You can tell that this would probably, if you were to try and break it down, you would definitely need a few minutes to tear away at these very large, heavily reinforced doors. Mage Shard takes you into one of these chambers. With a little bit of a chuckle, pulls a strange blue crystal out of their one of their spell component pouches and says, "They call me Mage Shard because I specialize in gem magic." And they kind of press it to the doorway, and you see this revitalizing, very bright and fresh color of blue go over this doorway, and you feel a chill because it's very warm outside. You feel this chill kind of enter the room and cool everything down as you step inside, and it feels almost like the mountains being, at that high altitude. Even in the hottest day of summer, there's always that brisk breeze, and it feels very refreshing as you walk in. And Shard says, if you should need anything else, please don't hesitate to call out for me. Just shout out Mage Shard and I shall appear should you need anything. I will be back, though, momentarily with a flagon of whatever you would like, as well as a plate of food. I will take into consideration your Goliath nature, and it will be something suitable to your culture and your tastes.
Yes, that would be much appreciated. Mr. Shardban, is Shard your real name?
It is my mage name, what I go by here.
What's your real name?
He kind of looks around and he says, typically, once you reach a rank that I do, we leave behind a lot of our old selves, but I will go ahead and because you're uncomfortable, I will go ahead and tell you my real name. My real name is Shalak, is my real name, but it is not one that I go by except for with family and very close friends. So while we are within the guild, please call me Mage Shard.
I like you, Shalak. Back in Arcadium, I had kind of a soft spot for kitties, and I've never seen one quite your size, and I like you. I like you, Shardman. If you ever need a scratch, just let me know.
He kind of wrinkles up his nose and face just a little bit, and he says, I always forget how forward and blunt you Goliath are, but it is refreshing to have one that does not play with words like many in this place do. So I will be back momentarily, and I appreciate your offer of a scratch. And he departs from the room.
Okay. Are there, is there anything in the room, are there any feathers of any kind? Can I find a feather?
Yeah, we'll say there's a bunch of quills sitting, like feather-type quill pens, sitting at one of the writing desks within the room.
Okay, I take all the feathers off the quills. I just, snap them off of the points. And then, I just kind of put them all together and tie some string around it. And then I find, I don't know, like a ball of fluff, maybe from like the bed or something. And I put it on the end, and then I look at it. I'm like, oh, he's gonna love this. And then I put it on the desk, and I patiently wait for him to return.
Oh my gosh, I love how, like, in any other circumstance with any other character, this would be super racist, but Core is just like, yeah, no, he would love this. Cats love this kind of thing. Oh my gosh, I'm getting a Guardians of the Galaxy moment from this. Nothing goes over my head. I too fast. Oh, Lord. Okay, so looking around the room, you see those quills, you see there are several writing desks, lots of very large tapestries around. You are able to find a ball of fluff. You think it's some sort of alchemical reagent, cotton of some variety. You do find that there are several, decorative stemmed, like when you see those decorative flower arrangements, but some of them are like sticks with flowering buds on them, that kind of thing. So you are able to find enough components to craft this cat toy, and it is very well done. You're used to doing a lot of those kind of things with your hands. Living in the mountains, you have to be very self-sufficient, so it is very well done and durable. You also see there are several books laying around. There is a couple of maps up on the walls, just general locations of places of interest within the port city itself and the Isle of Thalos that you are currently on. And yeah, you just patiently wait. About 8 to 10 minutes later, Mage Shard comes back into the room, and he is carrying a very large tray of what you can smell is some sort of like a large ram or something like that, roasted ram. They have a few root vegetables there, basically potatoes, carrots, turnips, that kind of stuff, that are sautéed up or that are cooked up. And then there is some fresh greenery there, a salad of some variety, something you're not super used to, and a large pitcher of what appears to be a ale or a mead of some variety, along with a very large flagon. And he sets it down on one of the tables in front of you.
Thank you very much, Shalek. Since you did something nice for me, I decided that I would also do something nice for you. And he just kind of walks over to the desk, but like keeping his back like to him so he can't see what I'm doing. And then I just pick up the little cat toy, and I turn around and I just kind of hold it out in both of my hands. Like my hands are together, like I'm presenting it to him. And it's just like, what do you think?
You see his ears twitch, and he kind of scrunches up his nose a little bit and says, thank you. I will take it back to my familiar, who is also a cat, and I'm sure he would love it. Thank you for this kind gesture. And you see his ear twitch a second time as he reaches out and grabs it.
Well, before he grabs it, I'm just gonna take it away real quick and throw it across the room. I'm go get it.
You see his ear twitch again, and he stands up a little bit straighter, and he says, just holler if you need anything else. And he walks over to it, picks it up, and walks out of the room. You do see a small black, actual house cat looking cat jump after him kind of through the doorway, and it follows Mage Shard down the hall.
God, he's such a cute kitty.
Oh, that's great. So then do you partake in the food?
Yeah, but I don't eat the greens.
I figured as much. So you partake in the food. It is very good. Not as good as what you can cook over an open fire up there in the mountains, but, for being city folk, it's very good. And you are just about all the way through with your meal when you see a very large robed individual. You can tell that they are somebody of standing, as even though they're still wearing the gray robes that everybody else was wearing, this individual has that air of influence and wisdom and age about them. They come into the room and they introduce themselves. A very large human sticks out his hand and he says, hello, my name is Mage Durin. and I am one of the enchanters within the Mages Guild, one of the senior enchanters here, and I am very good at reading magical objects and objects of forbidden power. I believe that there is a stone that I need to look at here that you possess. It's of danger, I know, but if you would trust me with it, I would be more than happy to identify as much as I can.
I grab his hand, like, how tall is he?
He would be, for a human, like 7'3". Like, he's a very, very tall human and very broad-shouldered. He would, look like somebody that isn't unknown to doing manual labor. I'm guessing enchanter, he might also do some smithing and all that kind of stuff on his own, given how large his arms are. So for a human, he is very large.
Okay, well, I'm, like, not that much taller than him, so I think Kor's actually going to mistake him for another Goliath. And so I'm going to grab his hand and shake it like, oh my god, I'm so happy that you're the one that's going to be helping me, man. I came over from Arcanium. I'm part of the Hill tribe. We are nomadic, and it's just, oh man, I was worried. I've seen so many different races of people, and I'm just so happy that a fellow Goliath is going to be helping me.
You see him crack a very large grin, and he says, you're not the only one that has made that mistake. I'm actually human, though somewhere down my line, supposedly there is a Goliath. And I guess I was the one that bred true with those. But yes, I am very aware of your current situation, and I am very honored that we have one of the Hill tribe here, especially one that comes with such a strange object. If you wouldn't mind, you can continue eating. I will just sit down with your stone here, right on the other, he kind of gestures to a chair across the table from you, and says, I will be sitting just right here. It will take me a couple minutes of silence, and I will tell you everything I can about this item. Do not concern yourself with the muttering and mumbling of me. I'm just communing with this object while I discover what it can do.
Okay, but just be careful. It's gonna tell you that it wants you to kill people and feed its souls. Don't listen to it. Obviously, that's bad. And if it just don't listen to it. He's kind of a dick.
All right. He nods his head and he goes, that is not the first time that I have heard that kind of a sentiment about some of the strange items and artifacts that I have handled. Do not worry. I am well prepared. And you see that he pulls out of his satchel a bit of silver cord, it looks like. And he kind of runs it in a circle around the chair that he is going to be sitting in, and places himself on that chair and reaches out for the stone. Do you hand it to him?
Yeah, I give it to him, and then I take my plate of food and I go and like grab another chair and like sit it directly across from him, and I like sit down and like just like pay really hard attention, like I'm watching like a juicy part in a movie, and then I just keep eating and just like wide-eyed watching what's happening.
Okay, fantastic. So you begin watching him, and even though you like placed it on his palm, you can kind of feel a little bit of resistance as you go to put it down, and when he pulls his hand away, you can see that it's actually floating just above his palm surface. And he sits down in that chair again and positions himself comfortably, and all of a sudden you feel this like snap in the air, and the circle you can tell has been empowered because it begins to glow a little bit, and he starts murmuring and chanting to himself, and the stone slowly settles into his palm, and he gives a bit of a jerk right as it hits his palm, but he continues chanting, and after 5 or 6 minutes, he starts to come out of this trance. While he was sitting there, you could tell that he was definitely not having the best time, but he was doing his best to speak aloud what he was feeling and hearing, and you can hear him pick up a few words. So go ahead and make a perception check for me to see how much of the mumbling you picked up.
Okay.
That's a nat 20.
Oh, wow. Okay, you are able to hear everything that he said, and as he's sitting there, he says, I demons. Yes, demons. Daedric demons. No, not Daedric. A prince of the Daedric. Oh, this is not what I wanted. Okay, what is going on here? No, cursing. Curse, Daedric of curse. No. Oh, this is not good. And he kind of pauses for a minute, and duels, inflicting wounds. Oh, this worries me. This is very worrisome. A changed shape, a sentient weapon, Daedric Prince's blade. Oh, no, this can't be. And he goes silent for a while again. After a minute or two of that complete silence, he comes out of that trance, and the circle disempowers, and you see the stone lift off of his palm once again, and he sets it down on the desk, kind of essentially move the chair to get a better seat, kind of next to where both of you are sitting. He sets it down, and he says, "Well, that was very enlightening, though very concerning. I felt the presence of a being of great power, a demon almost, but from a realm not of Arcadia, a realm from beyond. This stone appears to have been owned by one of these great and powerful demons, almost like a demon prince, if you will. And it was the center stone in one of their blades. And this is very concerning. This power is not from within Arcadia itself. It is from an outside realm. But I believe with training and discipline, you can harness the powers of this stone and hopefully leave that portal closed. Though, I should warn you, should something happen to your physical form and a situation is dire enough, is terrible enough, this portal may open up to the realm where this prince, this demon prince, used to occupy. And I know not what could come through should that happen, but all I know is that I feel that we should take precautions to make sure that that doesn't happen. And also, it could potentially be used to create a portal to that place and possibly branch that, make a more solid connection instead of the randomness of the portal crystal itself. But I ramble on. Ask what questions can I answer for you? I will leave this up to you. I will tell you what I can.
How do I destroy it?
The destruction of this crystal, of this stone, lies with the demonic prince, if you will. The one who created it must be destroyed in order to destroy it. I know not what their power is, though, judging from this stone being able to exist in this dimension, in this plane, it worries me greatly as to how powerful this creature actually is.
So, I have to find the demon prince, you said, and kill him to destroy the stone?
Correct.
Is there any way around that? Like, I got a wife and a family to get back to.
I do not believe so, though I can look into it.
I don't think you understand. It's my daughter's birthday next week. I have to get home.
You would be able to return, should... We actually have chambers here within the Mages Guild that we can put you into, and it will slow time to the point where you can do as much training as you need to before you come out. You choose the duration, and only about a few hours would pass in the real world. We can train you and assist you in those chambers, and help you to be able to control yourself, or control this power to the point where it won't be a problem for you, unless something dire and terrible happens to you physically, or mentally, or something along those lines. Unless you break yourself, your hold on this power won't.
Core just kind of looks at him and gives him like a really heavy sigh and like pinches the bridge of his nose. And he's like, well, so what you're saying is I can go into some chamber and train to use it. I don't want it. I want to destroy it. None of this is making any sense.
I understand your plight. Destroying it would take... Even I, in all of my power, would not be able to destroy this creature on my own. I would need allies and friends and other very powerful individuals in order to even approach where this demon-type prince is residing. I wouldn't even be able to get to probably where he is at, because my guess is that any portal that you open would not be within the heart of the sanctum. You would have to travel. I do not even believe that I would be able to get to him without the aid of many allies.
Well, I mean, you've got me. I'm your friend. You're kind of a Goliath. I'm a Goliath, and then we've got Shard, the cat mage. I just made him a special toy. He loves me. The three of us, we could do this.
We're talking about an entire adventuring party, basically. We are talking, 10 people to even approach the realm that this is. Possibly more to take down the prince demon creator of the stone himself. I do not know until we actually step through there, but I dare not do it without a lot of assistance. I think your best option right now is to learn to harness this and to slowly siphon off the power that this gem holds. And as your control over it increases, the prince demon's hold on it will weaken, and eventually you will be able to take him on at a level which could actually destroy the creature and destroy the gem. After you are able to harness this power and control it, you will be able to return to your family should you need to, and just return when the power needs to be siphoned off. But I do not believe that we are capable of destroying it at this point.
Well, I suppose then. What do we need to do? What do we need to do?
I believe right now you need to find allies and friends in order to procure the power you need to finally destroy this and take the fight to them. Your best bet would be to join one of the guilds. We would be more than happy to have you here at the Mages Guild, but I can tell that you are a man of multiple talents, and as such there are many guilds out there that may suit you better. I would be happy to write a recommendation into any one of those guilds, or to offer a place here in the Mages Guild, should you wish. Once that is done, seek out allies, seek out partners, seek out people that can help you to become a stronger person, for lack of a better term.
Can I be part of 2 guilds, or do I have to pick one?
There are 6 main guilds, and you can take part in any of them, but your membership is restricted to 1. But there are thousands of other smaller guilds that are more like groups of allies and adventurers that band together who do common jobs, and these can can have sponsorship in multiple guilds. So my suggestion would be to join one main guild as your primary allegiance, and then seek out some of those smaller guilds to gain the actual adventuring allies and questing allies that you need to confront the dangers and to strengthen yourself.
Okay. Well, since you all know more about this crystal than I do, I suppose it would make the most sense to join up with the Mages Guild.
I would be more than happy then to induct you into the Mages Guild itself. But first, I think we should take you into the chambers and get you to fully harness your abilities and to keep your abilities in control. So I will go ahead, and if you will follow me, I will lead you into these chambers. So he begins walking down that hallway, and as you follow him, you see all sorts of magical individuals. You see more beast folk of different animal variety. You see a lot of elves. You see several gnomes running around. All sorts of people. And he walks you all the way through the Mages Guild and down this long hallway that opens up into a gigantic circular room. And you, do you have Arcana, proficiency in Arcana?
No, I don't.
Okay. Then there's a bunch of symbols on top of the doors that all... you kind of... I recognize a couple of them as being the symbols for different spells, you think, but you're not 100% sure what they mean. And he leads you into one door and opens it for you. And he says, for each hour, or for each day that you spend within this chamber, 1 hour will pass in the real world here. So you, it also has all the food that you need, all the water that you will need, and you will be able to further learn to control what is happening. There's all sorts of books and resources in there as well. So go ahead and step in. You will see on the other side a crystal that you must use to seal the door with, and then you will be able to emerge after 1 hour in this time, or 1 day in the room.
Okay. Does it hurt going in? Like, what's gonna happen?
No.
I've never done this. Magic is new to me.
Yes, no, you have nothing to worry about. You will walk into the room as you would walk any other room, and there's a crystal on a stand right next to the door. You run the crystal along the seal of the door, along the seam of the door, and that seam will close and disappear. You will see above the door is a large hourglass, and once all the sand from that hourglass has run out, the seam to the door will reappear, and you can then exit. It will feel like 1 day inside the room, but out here it will have only been an hour.
Okay. Well, let's do this. Let's do magic, I guess.
Okay, do you feel that this is a power that you wish to commune with on your own, or need to assist you in harnessing this energy?
Can Shard come with me?
Unfortunately, Shard is not of the magical type that would be able to assist you with this. I fear what might happen should your powers become out of control, but I would be more than happy to assist you.
No, that's fine. I'll do it myself.
All right. So he gestures you to walk into the door. Do you?
Yes.
All right. You walk into the door, and as soon as you walk in, it doesn't feel any different. It's just like a little bit claustrophobic because you know that you're going to be like stuck in here for 24 hours. But other than that, it just looks like a normal room. There's a bunch of bookshelves set up. There's what appears to be like a pot full of water. There's a small cooking type area. Everything you would kind of need to hang out for a day. And do you immediately seal the door behind you, like he instructed, just running that crystal along the seam of the door?
Yeah, I think so. Might as well get down to business.
All right, you shut the door and you run the crystal along the full seam, and you see the seam and the door kind of fuse with the wall, and an hourglass above the door flips and sand starts slowly trickling down. You then look around you, you investigate a little bit more. There are every variety of arcane tomes about magic items, about beginning every path that you could think of. There is a large food type area, like I said, a very large pot of water. There is a small pool type area where you can bathe and whatnot. And as you look out the back of this room, there's a kind of an opening, a little balcony, but it opens up into emptiness. Just white emptiness everywhere around you. For any of those that are wondering meta terms, this is the hyperbolic time chamber from Dragon Ball Z.
I didn't want to name drop, but
yeah, no, that's exactly what is going on here. And you can kind of tell that it's for releasing magical spells off in the distance where they aren't going to hurt anybody or anything. You can just let loose with all the magic that your body has to offer, and it'll not hurt anybody or anything else. So, do you take out the stone and try and commune with it, try and do anything, or do you investigate the books, or what would you like to do?
Well, he gets in there, looks around. I think he, eats a little more food before he, really gets down to business. Has himself a little snack, you gotta stay energized.
Yeah.
Then he just takes the stone, he clenches it, forms it into the longsword, or the bastard sword, longsword.
Mm-hmm.
And then he just walks out into the open white and tries to cast a spell.
Okay. As you walk out there, it doesn't, increase gravity, like the Dragon Ball Z style does, but it does feel a little bit more, there's more pressure out there, almost as if you're surrounded by, in meta terms, like a humming of, if you get too close to, an electrical station, transformer type deal, that hum, okay. That feel of energy just around you. And you're pretty sure that even if you struck the ground as hard as you possibly could with your sword and unleashed every ounce of magic in your body, you probably still wouldn't be able to scratch it. This is just a center of power. So you begin working your spells and channeling your spells, and are you going to think of, targets appearing, something that you can target at somebody, or are you just going to shoot off into the distance?
Well, I think pretty much what he's doing, he's got a sword and a shield. So, at first, he's just, practicing, his basic techniques and stuff, the fundamentals of sword and shield play.
Yeah.
And then, out of nowhere, he casts a ray of enfeeblement, and it shoots off into the distance.
Okay, yes, you feel just this tension in your arm and your hand as you're swinging the sword, and you just instinctually point out, and the ray of enfeeblement launches from...
Whoa, that was pretty cool.
Yes. So, that ray of enfeeblement just rockets out there, and do you continue to try new spells and new things?
Yeah, I'm just, he's... Even though, he has magic now, he's not level 1, he's level 3.
Yeah.
But, this is, his first experiences with magic. And, in the heat of the moment, on the pirate ship and stuff, when him and Lynn were in battle, it just came naturally. But now he's trying to figure out how to consciously cast these spells,
Okay, yeah. And you have... the very stereotypical Eldritch Blast, correct?
Yeah, that's a cantrip.
Okay. You are swinging your sword around, you're thinking about the battle and how it felt to release that magic, and as you're thinking about this, you're swinging your sword around and you see one of those I don't call them bandits or pirates or whatever, but, one of those enemies, one of the guys on the ship that you saw that was going to attack that other crew. You picture them in your mind, and kind of an illusion of that person appears before you, and you slash out with your sword, and the illusion dissipates in front of you. You just keep swinging around, working yourself almost into this rage, this fervor, and you swing your sword and use it as a pointer like you did the last time you cast Eldritch Blast, and it rockets from the tip of your sword and demolishes another being, another illusory image. And as you are swinging the sword around, you're really working yourself into almost a fit, just swinging and slashing, and then you think of Lynn off the top of your head, just one of those random thoughts, and an image of Lynn appears in front of you, and as you strike, your sword brings across, all of a sudden, it's like you can see that exact spot to strike. You see Lynn in your head, and even though Lynn is a friend and an ally to you, you just know right where to strike, and as his arms kind of come up as the illusion tries to fight back almost, you just parry the strike that he would bring down and put the sword straight through the illusion's throat, and you pull the sword back, and you're breathing heavy and a little bit disgusted at yourself almost, but you look down at the stone and you feel this new power, this new energy within the stone. So go ahead and add this to your character sheet. Starting at first level, you learn the true power of manipulating others' goodwill. If you attack a creature who is currently friendly towards you, your first strike is an automatic critical hit. So I'm going to copy and paste that into the chat for you.
Okay, yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
I was just about to ask you.
Yep, so it is in the chat. So you unlock this power of this stone. It's a terrible power, and you're a little bit disgusted by it, but you can feel that this is an inherent ability of this stone. It's betrayal, it's murder, it's assassination. This is an evil energy, but you have taken that ill intent and you have made it your own. You have stolen that from the stone. So you feel that some of that power that is locked away within it is slowly becoming yours. How you use it is your own choice, but you are taking some of that power from that stone.
Okay. All right, let me jot that down. Okay.
All right, so you now have that ability added into your. You are breathing heavy, and you're definitely worked up a sweat, and you're exhausted. And you look up, and about a quarter of the sand has been removed from the hour. So it's been about 6-ish hours or so that you've been in here, just swinging the sword and casting spells, and you lost that time just. Like when you're driving down the road and all of a sudden you're at your destination, like, holy cow, what happened to the in-between? Yeah. It's that kind of feeling of just, you were all of a sudden walking out there and then this power just flowed through you. So you've kind of started to get a grasp on what would you like to do now? Would you take a break, or would you focus more on consciously casting, or what would you do at this point? 6 hours have passed.
Yeah, he's gonna take a short break, and I think he's just gonna eat some food, take a short little nap and get back to it.
Okay, yeah, you're able to you kind of look around and you see that there's a lot of dried preserved type food there. There's a lot of different fruits and stuff dried. There's some jerky almost. There's some different kind of nuts and seeds and all this other kind of stuff that you're able to eat. But you also notice that there is a cooking fire there, and as you think of something that you would want to eat, like chicken or something like that, you see that it appears in front of you on this table almost, along with a cleaver and a cutting board and all that kind of stuff you would need to prepare it. So you think of whatever you want to eat, kind of, and you cook it, you eat it. It is delicious, though a bit odd because it's not as good as the quote-unquote real thing, but it's still very tasty. And then you kick back, take a short nap, and you get back to it. What would you like to focus this part of your training on?
Still just trying to gain control, figure out how to flip the switch and cast magic, at will rather than just by, instinct. Okay.
You head back out there, you pull out the sword, and you feel a closer connection to it. As disturbing as that is to think about, given the horrific nature of this item, you do start to feel a closer connection to it. When you form the sword in your hand, you didn't have to consciously think, form a sword. It just, you put your hand on the stone, you grabbed it, and it formed based upon your feelings as opposed to your thoughts. So that was definitely an improvement. I'll let you go ahead and narrate then what are some of the other spells that you cast. We're going to treat your short nap that you had like a short rest, so you got your spell slot back that you lost.
Okay, and just to reference how I'm doing this, aside from my cantrips, I have 4 spells. So I'm just during this training, I'm just rolling a d4, and whatever it lands on is the one I'm casting. So just putting that out there, that's what's going on. So Core, he's still, out there, going through the motions, his different maneuvers and stuff for sword and shield style, swinging around, pretending blocking and stuff. I think at this point he's conjured a couple different enemies. He knows that if he thinks hard enough about people attacking him, then those targets will appear, right?
Yeah.
So right now he's got 2 bandits coming at him, holding his own, swinging the swords and stuff like that, and then he casts Witch Bolt at one of them.
Okay, yeah. And that ray of lightning shoots out from the end of your blade. I'm assuming all of your spells, are they going to come from you or from the stone or the blade, whatever shape the weapon?
Yeah, the weapon is just a manifestation of the stone. So essentially the weapon is the stone, and so like whatever, like it's like I slash the sword and then the spell like goes in the direction that I was slashing at.
Okay, yeah, you go to raise your hand in a great arc of a swing, and right as you bring it down, when the sword point is at where it would strike at somebody, that lightning bolt just releases from the end of the blade, and you can feel that stone just locked on to that illusory figure. And even though normally with Witch Bolt, if you kill the target with the lightning bolt, it doesn't jump to another target. But you're in training, and this is a montage. So you slash down, and that lightning bolt streaks out, and this lightning just continues to arc from the blade and jumps to the next target next to it, and just decimates both of them after about 12 seconds. 2 rounds, quote unquote.
Dope. That sounds cool.
All right. So then what would you do? We're going to say that another 2 hours has passed. You took about an hour nap, so you need another hour or another 2 to 3 hours or so before you reach midpoint.
I think he's going to stop for a second. He's kind of in his head about like thinking about people and conjuring them. So I think he's going to think really hard about Lynn and conjure Lynn.
Okay, yeah, you get that, almost that twinge because you remember, stabbing through his throat the last time the illusion manifested. But yeah, you're able to summon Lynn, and this time he's got kind of that friendly expression on his face that he got when he was just, staring off into space and just doing his mage duties, just kind of that self-satisfied grin.
Hey, Lynn, my friend, I know you're not real, but I did what you said. I took the letter, I found the Mages Guild, and I'm here training now. They said they can help me, and I just think you'd be really proud, and I want to say thank you.
And 1,000 miles away, a single tear runs down Lynn's cheek for some reason that he has no idea. And he looks wistfully into the horizon, remembering the day that you guys fought the bandits.
Okay, and then he eats some food. Like he's got a huge appetite. So he has to eat probably, or he gets hungry every couple hours. Even if he has a huge meal, he's just always hungry. So he'll have a snack and then probably get back to it.
Okay, yep. You take another snack, conjure some more food, and you can definitely tell that the mage is on the other side of the door. Jesus, this is supposed to last for a week, and he's going to go through it in a day. But you're able to get some more food in your stomach, basically taking another short rest, and then we're going to go ahead and move into the second half. So 12 hours have passed during your time here in the chamber. You've got all your spell slots back, and all your abilities back, and you are ready to hit the road again. So what would you like to do now that we're in the second half of the training?
He's got his mindset on just pure training. Here's the thing about Core. He understands speech, but he never really learned to read or write that well. Living in the wilderness his entire life, just not really it's just specific to him. It's not that he's dumb, but his entire clan they just spoke to each other, and whenever they needed something, it was all through speech. So they never really learned to read or write much. He knows if he can write his name and stuff, but for all intents and purposes he is illiterate. Can't really read, can't really write, so he has no interest in the books other than maybe throwing them in the air and casting Eldritch Blast at them.
Okay, yeah, you're able to just experiment. You kind of look around, making sure nobody's watching, even though you're completely alone in the space. And you grab one of the books and fling it into the air, and you cast Eldritch Blast from the end of your blade, and it explodes the book into 1,000 little pieces of paper and parchment. And as you kind of chuckle about that and are looking around to see if anybody noticed, you're still 100% alone here. You look back to where all the fluttering paper bits went, and you see the book has now come back together and is laying just on the ground, totally like it wasn't blown up a second ago.
Whoa. Wonder, he's thinking out loud, I wonder, and I just point the sword at the book and I cast Eldritch Blast at it. It explodes, it forms again, I cast it again, it explodes, and I'm just like continuously casting Eldritch Blast at it to see how many times it can like explode and reform.
That's fantastic. Yeah, you do that, I don't know, half a dozen times or so, and then it starts messing with you almost, and jumps around. So it reforms like a couple feet off to the side, and then behind you, and then everything else, and then eventually it goes back to the shelf after about the 12th time.
I shoot Eldritch Blast at the shelf.
It reflects off of the shelf and comes rocketing at you. Roll the attack roll.
Roll the attack?
Yes, roll the attack.
16.
Does that beat your AC?
No.
No, okay. It ricochets back at you, and you're like, oh crap! And dodge to the side as the blast goes right back past your head. And you get kind of the sinking feeling that if you try to destroy anything inside here, bad things happen to you. You can destroy the objects and stuff, but if you try to actually destroy the room, something bad happens.
I shoot it at the shelf again.
Roll the attack roll against yourself again.
Well, that one, it's a 13.
A 13. So once again, this time you're expecting it to ricochet back at you, and you put your shield up, and it just slams into your shield, not doing any damage to yourself.
Okay. Core's like figuring out a new method of training at this point, like how to dodge incoming spells and stuff like that. Like how to, like it's like somebody's like actually attacking him with magic. So like he keeps doing it. He keeps doing it.
All right, yeah, you just blast spell after spell after spell until you are breathing heavy and exhausted and battered and beaten. And you're still not doing too bad because you can anticipate it a little bit. So you're not like on death's door, but you've definitely taken several hits and are able to kind of adapt a little bit better. And being in that real combat situation, you are able to utilize a lot more of your spells and feel that power flowing more naturally between you and that stone. So we'll go ahead and say that another 6 hours has passed. We're in the last quarter. Would you like to take a rest at this point, or do you want to push through the last 6 hours and finish off going strong?
Yeah, he's gonna take a little rest. He eats some food and stuff like that. Sits down on a chair, and then he remembers his family.
Okay.
And manifests them in the room.
Okay, yeah, you're able to manifest the image of your family, the image of your home, and while it is very depressing, to kind of see from the outside, I guess, it's comforting to you to see your family and everything again, and to know that anytime you want to see them, you can come back to this place and you can spend some time here reminiscing. But you're confident in the fact that if you do complete this training, you will be able to see them. As difficult as it is, you will be able to go back even though your mission isn't quote unquote accomplished yet.
Cool. And like he doesn't really like say anything, like it's just like an image of the group going through their like daily chores and responsibilities, and he just like sits there and watches for a minute.
Awesome. Yeah, how long would you do that for? An hour or a little bit longer?
Say probably about a half hour, because like he did eat and stuff like that too, so about a half hour.
Okay. Then we'll go ahead and say you have about 5 hours left. You're getting very exhausted at this point. You've been up for more than 24 hours. What would you like to do with the last 5 hours?
He's gonna keep training. Now that he's got the idea in his head about guarding against incoming spells and stuff like that, I think he's actually gonna conjure like a group of people, like maybe a couple bandits and then like a mage or two that like he can train against and stuff.
All right, then we're gonna go ahead and roll initiative and do some real combat here. So I will go ahead and roll 1 for a magic user and 1 for bandits.
Okay.
All right, what did you get?
4.
A 4, all right. All right, the mage rolled a 20, so the mage goes first, and then the 2 bandits got a 12, so they will go before you as well. So we're going to go ahead and get started. You conjure them in your head, and you see in front of you this red-robed, kind of ambiguous-looking individual and 2 bandits start charging towards you. This mage is going to go ahead and cast a spell against you, and this ball of flame appears in their hand and rockets towards you. That was only a 7 plus an arbitrary, we'll go 4 to hit, so that's an 11. Does not hit you, I'm assuming.
Nope.
All right, it slams into your shield, you being very ready, having launched several spells at yourself. Those line-type spells are very easy to predict, and you just bat it away with your shield. The 2 bandits charge up to you, their swords drawn, and they slash at you once each. That was an 18 and a 12.
What is your rule for a meeting armor class? Is it beats or tie goes to defender?
Nope, it's meets, it beats. So if you hit it or higher, it goes.
The 18 hit me.
All right, he slashes down at you with his spectral weapon and deals to you 6 total points of damage.
Okay, let me jot that down.
Yep, and then it will be your turn.
Okay, I'm going to cast Blade Ward as my action.
Okay.
And then I don't think I have any bonus action spells or anything like that I can use. Oh, I'm going to cast Hexblade's Curse on the mage.
Okay, yeah, this
for my bonus.
This red energy, almost as if like droplets of blood go rocketing out of your blade and slam into this mage, and this aura of just doom surrounds him.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, that's my turn.
All right, then we move back to the mage. The mage, with a shudder, points another finger at you, and a rocket of icy energy comes spiraling towards you. And that was a 13 plus 4 for a 17, so 1 less. Once again, you bat your shield at that, and it just completely knocks the spell to the side. We then move on to the 2 bandits, both of whom are going to attack you. That was an 11 and a 19, so the 19 will hit, and I believe Blade Ward gives resistance, correct?
Right, until the end of my next turn, so it's still in effect.
All right, then half of this, you take 2 points of damage.
Okay.
And we move on to your turn.
Okay, I'm going to cast Arms of Hadar.
Oh.
It's a 10-foot radius centered on myself.
Okay.
Each creature in that area must make a strength saving throw.
Both got a 12.
Both fail. So, they take 2d6 necrotic damage and can't take reactions.
Oh no.
That's it. So, let me roll that necrotic. That's 8 damage to each of them.
Both of them are looking very beaten at this point. They aren't yet dead yet, but you can see, even though they're like illusions, you can see the illusory blood trickling from their faces as they are very wounded by those tentacles reaching up and grabbing at them.
Okay, and that's going to be my turn.
All right, we then move on to the mage's turn. The mage is going to break out something a little bit more powerful, and oh no, wait, you've got 2 buddies around you. Oh yeah, he's going to go ahead, and a lightning bolt streaks from his fingers, and that is a... nope, still, gosh, I could not roll above an 18 with the mage. That is a 16 to hit. So this Witch Bolt, a spell that you recognize, slams into your sword, and because you can cast that spell and you know inherently how it works, you channel and ground that energy into that stone, and you see the stone glows, but you do not feel any of that lightning. And then we move on to the 2 mages. Then they are going to both slash at you again. And neither one hits you this turn. You, with that lightning channeled into that blade, it's very bright, and they kind of squint their eyes as they swing at you, neither one finding purchase on you. So then we move on to you, Cole.
Okay. I think I'm going to cast Cloud of Daggers on the mage. You fill the air with spinning daggers in a cube 5 feet on each side. then on a point you choose within range, creature takes 4d4 slashing damage when it enters the spell's area for the first time on a turn or starts its turn there. So when the mage goes, it takes 4d4 slashing damage.
And it takes damage immediately because it is just being created, so it has entered that space basically. So go ahead and it's a dex saving throw?
No, it just happens.
Oh, okay. Yep.
It doesn't say anything about an attack or a saving throw or anything.
Okay, yep. Then I guess it's the start of its turn then, so go ahead and roll that damage.
Okay, and I would like to point out that this is a concentration spell up to 1 minute.
Awesome. I'll make sure to hit you with a 30 so you can't pass it.
Okay, so that's 12 damage on the mage.
Okay, and that is exactly how many hit points this mage had. And it falls to the ground in a kind of, well, it starts to fall and then it dissipates because it's illusory and fades into nothingness. So all you have is the two very damaged bandits around you. And then it's on to their turn, unless you had a bonus action you were doing after.
I'm going to put my Hexblade's curse on. Wait, can I? Is that? Actually, I think I do that once between rests. So with that, I do regain 5 hit points because the mage died.
Awesome.
So I'm doing pretty good. Bring on the bandits.
All right, both bandits are going to attack you again. Oh, and that's a crit. The other one got a 5. So you are going to take from the one bandit then. As you were casting that cloud of daggers, summoning that energy, you were left wide open, and the one brings his blade across your ribs, and oh wow, deals to you 8 points of damage as it slams into your rib with that spectral blade.
Okay, not doing so good anymore.
Hey, those 5 points helped dampen that wound a bit.
Definitely helps.
All right, we then move back onto your
Okay, let's see here.
Oh shoot! Actually, I take that back. I apologize. It's 10 points of damage because we do it one max roll plus a roll, as opposed to rolling double. So you took 10 points instead of 8.
Well,
yeah.
Okay.
So then the concentration check on that is.
Well, the target's dead, so I'm not like trying to maintain concentration. Okay. Like he died, so I don't have to like. You know.
Not a problem then.
Okay, let's see here. Hold on. Check in. I don't have spell cards, so I have to look up every spell in the book. I do have the page numbers jotted down, but
yep. Oh
okay.
Gosh, I do that exact same thing. I've got like 20 tabs open on Google Chrome for all the spells that I googled ahead of time.
Okay. Well, on the bandit that I had previously hurt, I'm going to be casting Witch Bolt.
Okay.
So,
and both of them are basically dead. You did that Arms of Hadar and got both of them. So they are both on death's door.
Okay. Well, in that case, I think he's probably just going to do just a basic attack on the one on the right, we'll say.
All right, go ahead and swing.
Swing the sword. It's a 12?
A 12 is not quite enough. 1 point short of what you need, as there's studded leather. Because I believe I used studded leather. Yeah, these are the same stats. So the AC was 13 on him. So you go to bring that blade down, and he gets his spectral blade in the way. And since you just took that wound to your ribs, you just don't have the force behind it like you normally would, and he's able to parry that blade. Go ahead. What would you like to do for your bonus action? Anything?
No, like I said, I don't really have too many bonus action things I can do.
All right.
Yeah, that'll be mine.
All right, back on to the bandits' turn. Both bandits, once again, very uncreatively swing at you, and it pays off for one of them again. Not a crit, just a regular hit. And that's only 2 points of damage. Roll the 1, and they have a +1. So that's 2 points of damage to you from that bandit. Okay. And then we move back onto you, Core.
Okay, I think Core's pretty hurt right now. He's not taking any chances this time. He's going to use his last second level spell to cast Arms of Hadar again.
Okay, awesome.
So strength saving throws from those two dudes.
Once again, you hold your blade above your head, and this circle of energy around you, this darkness, begins to bubble up beneath their feet, and these tentacles shoot up, and one of them saves with a 16, the other one fails with a 9.
Okay, well that's 6 damage total. So 6 on one, 3 on the other.
Oh, awesome, okay. So the one a tentacle comes up and wraps around its neck and pulls it down into the ground, and it dissipates as it hits the ground. The other one jumps back to get out of the way, but one of these tentacles wraps around its ankle and slams it to the ground, not dealing as much damage, but still hurting it. And he expires as well, as your spell slowly fades from existence. And we go ahead and break combat here.
Okay, Cora's breathing very heavily. That was probably the most strenuous battle he's been in for a very long time. But he also feels like kind of invigorated by it too, you know?
Yeah, this was like blockbuster quality cinematics with all of this crazy magic going on. The CGI on this was super tight. And so it was definitely a battle like you haven't seen in ever, kind of a thing. All right, so then would you hunker down, get some more food, and take a short nap, kind of recover your strength a little bit before exiting the chamber in a couple hours?
Yeah, he's gonna eat some food, take a short nap and stuff, and then probably he's gonna like try to do the whole like spell shooting thing against the bookshelves again for a little bit, but then probably about, I'd say, a half hour before time's up, he starts thinking about the demon prince and tries to conjure him.
Okay. So you start shooting spells, and you've gotten into the rhythm of shoot, block, shoot, block, shoot, block. Not a problem. You're able to do that. You get your food in your belly. You recover 1 hit die worth of hit points, even though it doesn't really matter since we're out of combat. And, you can spend as many hit die as you want. Short rest, and you recover those, and you begin concentrating on the demon prince thing. You start to feel this unease, as if somebody's about to stab you in the back. You have these eyes that are watching you that you can't identify, and you get the shiver as the hair on the back of your neck starts to stand up, and you hear this soft footfall type noise, as if somebody is creeping up behind you. And as you whip around, this horrific figure in a robe is standing behind you, and you open your eyes, not realizing they were shut, and you're breathing heavy, and all that is resounding in your head is this sound of quiet footprints, somebody sneaking up behind you, and the chill of steel as it just touches the back of your neck. And it is very disturbing to you to feel and to sense that feeling. But you did get a name that resounded. You heard it, and it really locks onto your soul, onto the very essence of your magic. Daedric is what just resonates with you. Daedric Prince. You don't know exactly which one it is, but this term that the other mage, Mage Durin, couldn't quite grasp, not really having the concept of it. You just know that this creature is called a Daedric. It's a demon unlike a normal demon. It is a prince among demons. And you come out of this trance and this spell just as the last bits of the sand run out of the hourglass. All right. Yeah. You see the seal on the door, that crack, begin to appear once again, and the crystal that was sitting next to the door begins to regain its glow as the seal is removed. And you see the door swing open, and Mage Durin walks in, and with one eyebrow raised, he says, "Well, it looks like you definitely got something accomplished, I think."
Yeah, I ate a lot of food. I shot some spells. I fought some bandits. I fought 3 people at one time. I saw my friend Lynn. I saw my family, and I tried to see the being behind this stone, but I never caught a glimpse.
That probably wasn't the smartest thing you could have done, but at least we know that if you tried to summon them and they did not come through, that you are safe enough. I sense a deeper connection between you and that stone, and I feel that you are safe to carry it and not lose control unless something very dire should happen. So I do believe
summon. What do you mean summon? Were the people that I conjured here, were they real?
No, they are but illusions. But you were thinking on that stone, and you were communing with it, and should have something have gone wrong, possibly, and you lost control, the prince would have broken through into our reality. But it seems that you were able to hold tight your control over this, and I do feel safe enough in saying that you won't be a threat of losing control of the power that you hold now. So I do feel confident enough in saying that you are able to join our order and not have any restrictions or restraints placed upon you while you are here with us.
Well, I appreciate your faith in me.
And he says, quick.
I must admit, the power of this stone, I still don't quite understand it, even considering the progress I've made in the past hour-long day that I just went through. But if you believe in me, then that makes me feel much more confident.
All right. He looks at you and he says, if you wish now, we will let you clean up and we will induct you into the Mages Guild if that is your chosen guild. Otherwise, I would be happy to write a letter of introduction and of confidence to one of the other guilds to help get you into those. Which would you prefer?
Yes, I believe I would prefer to join your ranks as a mage. That feels weird to say. I don't like magic. I guess I'm a magic user now. Okay.
Now that you have agreed to be a part of the Mages Guild, as I said, we will leave some robes for you here to change into after you have cleaned up, and we will induct you into the Mages Guild itself. And he leads you into kind of another small waiting room, kind of like what you were in. But this one has a bathing area, and there's a set of clothes. It's like a small apartment in meta terms, single bedroom type apartment. And you go clean up a little bit, and you see the robes in front of you. These are definitely Goliath size, and they remind you a little bit of home. They're the blue kind of and brown faded type colors of the mountains, the stones, and everything like that. They are more fitting, I think, for you than what you would expect mage robes to be. Do you change into them and exit your room?
Yeah, he tries to fit them over his armor, which, by the way, I'm wearing a breastplate.
Yeah, you are able to, with a little bit of tugging and everything, get these robes kind of over your armor, and as you're trying to stretch them and get them to fit, they expand and they start to open up and part, and they become more like a hooded cloak. They kind of open in the front, and they still cover your arms and whatnot, but it's kind of open like a coat would be, instead of like normal robes.
Cool.
All right, you put them on, you exit out of the room, and you see Mage Durin standing there. He silently leads you into this very large chamber, and you feel all of the influence and magic of the tower around you. And he says, do you swear to uphold the value, the honor of the Mages Guild, and do what you need to do to end corrupt magic and evil magic users that would wish to do harm onto the innocent?
Yeah.
And
I guess so.
Okay. And he says, do you wish to join us in the guild and become one of us and take part in ritual and in workings that will help make you a better mage?
Yes.
Okay, then cast into the tower all of your magic reserves and become a part of it yourself. and you feel all the other mages raising their power around you and just channeling it into the tower around you. Do you take part and release some of your magic into it?
Yeah, he grabs a crystal, the source of his magic power, opens his palm, raises it towards the tower, and it starts to like float in the palm of his hand. And he's like, "Whoa, it's never done this before. This is really cool." And then just does it.
Okay, the magic streams out of you, and you can feel all of the other mages' sense of the tower, where things are, people that are using it. You can feel the magic, all the different types of individuals and people and spellcasters, and all of this magic just floods into you, and you become a part of the tower itself. What this means, meta terms, all of your spell slots have been expended, and you are unable to cast spells for a little bit, but that is the feeling. You became a part of the tower, and you just know where things are, who's here, who's doing what. You can just feel it in your bones. And you are obviously exhausted at this point, drained of your magic. They congratulate you on becoming a part of the tower, and they lead you back into that same room you were, and they say, "This will be your residence while you are within Port City and within the tower. You are free to take up residence elsewhere, but your room here in the tower will always be available to you should you decide to stay here. And we would suggest you get a good night's sleep at this point, and we will see you in the morning." And he departs. Is there anything you would like to do then, real quick, before we wrap this up?
Well, Cord just turns around and just falls onto the bed and goes to sleep.
All right. You fall into a very deep slumber, reflecting on everything that you have learned, done today. So we will go ahead then and end for today. It is now the 24th. It'll be the morning of the 24th of planting when you awaken, and we will go ahead and break from here. So thank you very, very much, Will, for joining me on this. I'm glad we got you a place, got you to discover more about your power, and left a couple open-ended meta things to discover later on. So thank you very, very much, Will. Any last words before we depart?
Yeah, I just want to say that it was a lot of fun. Playing this character, never played a warlock, so this is all new to me, and it's a lot of fun. There are a couple things about the homebrew Hill Goliath things that I want to make clear, just because I didn't the first time we played, I didn't really explain much of like what was going on with him. So he's got Hill Goliaths have a feature called Insatiable Appetite, and that's what gives him the immunity to poison. In the first episode, there is a point on the pirate ship where a poison dart missed me, and I noticed it, and I took it and put it in my neck anyway as a form of intimidation, and it had no effect. Further from that, earlier in that previous episode, there is a part where Core took a bowl and just started eating it to try and to try and like intimidate somebody. Part of the Insatiable Appetite feature is that I'm immune to negative effects from eating non-food items. So just wanted to clear like those couple little things up to make it make more sense, so it doesn't seem like, I'm just jabbing poison darts into my neck for whatever reason and eating random bowls off the counter for, whatever. But yeah, no, this is a lot of fun. I'm really enjoying this, and thanks for having me, Bob.
Thank you. I will talk to you later then.
All right, man. Take care.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Chaos Plan. We really hope that you enjoyed it, and since we are doing group games now, we are going to very quickly start getting episodes out there on a regular basis. If you want to take part, please visit Patreon, donate the $2 a month, and you can get in on this guaranteed. We already have the next batch of players getting ready to go for the next game, and we're already looking at the different DMs that are going to be taking part. Both Braden and Mike have committed to doing games so far. So if you want to get in on that action, please just join our Patreon. Thank you, and we hope to see you next game.